Hey everybody, and welcome back to Elderberry Sprout. Today we're doing a different type of video. We're doing the My Magical YouTube Journey video. So you get to see my lovely face while I talk about all these different ideas. I think it's really important to talk about how our witchcraft journey relates to our social media image, because I know personally I don't share a lot of like the ins and outs of my actual spell work. So it's interesting to think about how our businesses are connected to our witchcraft practices. So let's start digging into these things. Oh, first of all, I was originally tagged in this by Cara from Pagan Crafting, and this was a tag that was originally started by Starlight the Wild Witch. So the first question is, what is your channel name and what is the significance behind it? So my channel name is Elderberry Sprout, and I've left the title of my channel kind of ambiguous. So it's like, is this a plant? Is this some weird magical channel? Because I don't really want to put myself in a box. I know even with my business, I do have a beeswax candle business. And on my banner, I'll put Elderberry Sprout Candle Company. But then on my website, I also have Elderberry Sprout Magical Living. So Elderberry Sprout is just kind of like the full encompassment of all different aspects of the things that I do. And the significance behind it is that I think the elderberry plant has so much wisdom to share with us, and I don't have all that wisdom yet, so I'm just like a little sprout learning from the elderberry a lot. So what kind of content do I create on my channel? So I create a whole bunch of grimoire with me videos, and a lot of just art magic and some altar decorations, a lot of just witch crafting. So full on the craft part of witch crafting. I know for me, ever since I was a child, doing art magic has been like a really powerful expression of my perspective on life and like the way that I see beauty in the world. So I never really knew how to channel that until I knew I could actually call myself a witch. I know it sounds silly, but like I never knew that you could just say, oh yeah, that's actually what I am. Like I was practicing witchcraft all through middle and high school, but I didn't know that I could technically define myself as that. So now that I know that, I can just say, oh yeah, that's what I've been doing this whole time. It's nice to have a word that's pretty close to the practice you actually do. So what inspired me to start my channel? Originally I started my channel, it was just about bullet journaling. And I did sprinkle some like intentional bits into that with like my vision boards and that type of thing. And I did talk about my intention for the month, but the majority of my channel just started off for planning because I find planning so important in my own personal practice. I personally have a lot of stuff like being juggled at any one time. I know in this last year I had like 4 different jobs going on, so I just want to make sure things don't fall through the cracks. And being a business owner, just like a lot goes on through that. But yeah, I really enjoy having a beautiful planner, and actually my friend introduced me to bullet journaling in the first place, and it was right after I got out of college and I didn't have to do the fall start type planner anymore. And it was just a traditional planner and I used the heck out of it. But then I realized I'm like, wait, the world is my oyster. I can create the planner that I want. And I'm a very particular person, so I got a lot of satisfaction out of like tweaking it the way that I wanted it to be. So I've been on YouTube since like 2015 or 2016. I don't even remember. I don't think my first video is available anymore. I've come a long way since then, so just keep that in mind. Yeah, 2015, 2016, so however long that is. What are my hobbies outside of my channel? So I do a lot of sewing. Even now I'm like looking at my projects where I'm sitting. And that's something I don't want to incorporate into my content too much. I need to have that, I need to have at least one thing that I don't share a whole bunch about. Maybe I'll share like a finished photo of a finished product, but I don't want to do like sew with me's or anything. And I think that's really valuable for me to have that differentiation, because a lot of my art, which used to be stuff that I would just do for myself, has now been incorporated into my content. So like with the grimoire with Muse and my planner videos of, you know, bullet journal monthly setups and stuff. So that's therapeutic time for me still. But the fact that it's on camera, it does remove an element of it being purely an exploratory process, you know, because I know it's being seen. So there's certain things that like I'll speed up or I'll or like I'll have an idea and I won't explore it in that particular setup because I know it would take too long to like find the right material and dig through all my stuff, and so sometimes I do what's expedient for the video's sake. And I don't want to cut corners like that on sewing. I want to, if I want to do piecework of a weird tablecloth and have to cut it apart a million ways just to make it into a dress, which is what I'm currently working on, I want to be able to take the time to do that the way that I want to. So I do a lot of sewing. I'm also a Jacqueline of all trades, I suppose you could call it. So I do a lot of stuff. I make some jewelry. Oh goodness. I mean, I've soldered jewelry before. I also make candles. That's a part of my business, not necessarily my YouTube channel quite so much. Um, I don't know. I fix my car. I do a lot of everything. It's really a question of what I don't do as a hobby. So, I mean, maybe I could rephrase that as what don't I do? Um, and even then, I can't answer that question. I do everything. Okay. Is there a new style of content that I want to try? So the answer is yes to that, absolutely. Oh yeah, okay. Take a sip, everybody. Okay, so yes, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. There is content that I want to do that I'm not currently making. And a part of that is because I just don't have the space to film in. Like even now, this is like a tablecloth that I put on the wall because underneath here is like some gnarly plywood. So I have two different sheds that are not the prettiest to look at, and I want to fully refinish them so that I actually have spaces that I can film in. Because I share the home that I live in with another person, and I don't really feel comfortable sharing much of that space. So I'm in my studios, however, the world is my oyster. So I'm working on renovating those, and it might be a little while in the future, but I would like to do more perhaps spell work and showing the actual process for how I do things. So that's in the works. Oh yeah, and leave a comment if you want to see like a before and after studio tour, because I haven't done the before footage, but I keep thinking I'm like, oh, I should probably do it before I get too far in my like renovation projects. So anyway, that's in the works eventually. Oh, I'd also like to start doing live streaming, ideally on the new moons, when I'm talking about like what I'm releasing and also what I'm bringing in, like maybe doing a vision board. Ooh, a vision board live stream I think would be really fun. So that's in the works too. Oh, so much to do, so little time. Next question is, how do I plan out my content? So with that, I've tried a couple different systems over the years, and the one that works best for me personally is having a big bank of video ideas, and then perhaps scheduling like one or two a month to keep me on track. And then at least up until now, I've been doing 3 to 4 videos a month, and I'm going to shoot for just doing 3 videos a month now. To allow myself a little bit more ease and things coming up in my life and whatnot. But I think it's important for me to have a little bit of space for that creative muse to really carry me somewhere, perhaps that I wasn't expecting it to, because life is full of coincidences and it pulls you in a certain direction. So I know I personally need to listen to that when it strikes, you know. So I try to schedule a couple of them. Especially if they're seasonal ones or they relate to a topic that is time sensitive, I try to focus on that and give myself enough time to actually work on that in a time that I am excited to do so. So I don't want to like force myself to do a video I'm not excited about, because I feel like you guys can tell if I'm not into it. And also it's like, I don't feel proud of my work if I'm not excited to make it. So I try to give myself enough time to feel excited about it, where like there's a window, I'm like, okay, if the inspiration strikes somewhere in there, that's when I do it. So yeah, kind of a conglomerate system of planning. What are the tools of my trade? Now, like I was saying, this is kind of a hard one. I do a million things. And the tools of my trade, like literal trade, because I'm a substitute teacher. I'm also a candle maker, and I vend at farmers markets and like craft fairs and pagan festivals and stuff. A laptop, my candle studio probably. Beeswax is a medium I work in a lot. paper collaging. So like I know personally I've done collage for a long time, so magazines are a big part of my practice for like art magic. Um oh, and then as far as making videos, the tools of those trades, I have a Samsung phone that I'm filming on right now, but most of the time I use a Canon T6 Rebel. I don't know. It was a camera I got like when I started my YouTube journey actually. So it was one of the first videos I made was on that camera. It's starting to get annoying to use now, so I'm thinking about upgrading. But yeah, having something that has a flipping camera so that I can, or a flippable screen so I can see what's in frame. Because at this point I've been like rigging mirrors just for years so I can see what's like in frame. So, you know, like from top down filming, I have like a little mirror set up. But anyway, so I'm looking to upgrade some stuff. Um, oh, and I got a computer, like an actual desktop, and I've been rigging it up with like extra hard drives and more RAM and stuff. So yeah, good computer for good processing of long time-lapsed videos. As a content creator, do I experience burnout? If so, what does that look like for me? And how do I recover from it? Yes, I do experience an element of burnout, but I don't think it's necessarily just about what I'm doing on YouTube. I think it's an element of me not listening to my personal boundaries and constantly letting them lapse over and over again and overexerting myself. And then I just get worn down because I'm not taking care of myself. So I don't think it's like I'm burnt out on a certain thing or I'm burnt out um, on making progress in my life necessarily. It's just that I'm not listening to and having a proper balance in my life. So whenever I feel burnt out, I try to take some time to myself to like physically take care of my body, make some good meals, go grocery shopping, get all that good stuff I've been putting off, and like, do a deep clean, do a complete skin cleanse, brush your whole body, massage your scalp, just shake all that gunk loose, right? And like, whew, completely start fresh. So cleansing, I mean, as you can tell by what I was just saying, cleansing is an amazing thing for burnout, at least for me. And then following my creativity. So if I'm feeling annoyed by a certain video, sometimes I'll put it on the back burner and then I'll say, nope, this week I'm doing something that's really tickling my fancy. So like the Medusa one, for example, was one that I'd been thinking about for a while. And then it just like was a gut punch. I'm like, okay, Medusa it is. So I don't know, just listening to my own internal compass telling me what I'm excited about. And then also being okay with things being imperfect. I know there's a saying of perfection is the enemy of the good, and I do think that that is very, very much the case with me. I have a tendency towards perfectionism, and I get frustrated with that sometimes when something isn't turning out exactly like I would like it to. So every video I make is like a meditation in imperfection and acceptance and the present moment, and yeah, so it's a constant evolution and practice. Um, let's see, burnout. Anything else to say about that? How do I recover from it? I just take care of my body, take some space. I've been pretty okay with like skipping weeks on YouTube. I think the reason I feel okay doing that at this point is because it hasn't been anything too serious. Like I'm not getting paid a whole bunch of money to do this, so I still want to show up when I'm feeling inspired, but I don't feel like I have this overarching obligation to do YouTube. So it's really just like a thing that I can do when I feel inspired to, and I can share what I can share. However, I am going to be starting a Patreon pretty soon. If it's live when this video is going live, then here is the link to it. I think it should be when this video comes out. I'm just starting with printables. We'll see where we go from there. Oh, and a discount for my shop is another thing. So you get 10% off my website. So keep an eye peeled for that. Now that, on the other hand, I won't be able to take breaks from because that's a monthly obligation. So you guys will be getting stuff. Which video am I the most proud of and why? Honestly, I think the one I'm the most proud of is the how to dress a spell candle video. So that was a video that like I knew once I was making spell candles to sell at the farmers markets that I'm like, oh, this is a video that would help so many people. And I didn't want to gatekeep it by making it a really long video, like explaining how spell candles have been used for generations and how blah, 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 So I just made like a 5-minute video, 4 minutes and something seconds, explaining the whole process just so people can know, like, hey, these are the steps that I take to pour intention into candles. You can do whatever you like. And I will say on that one, I get a lot of spam comments about people trying to like sell their witch doctor services. So I just like have to block some comments in that one. But it's performed really well, and I just feel really good about the information and I guess the value of that video provides for people to be able to use that knowledge and then apply that to their own personal practice. And like while I sell those spell candles on my website, I also am just like, hey man, this is how I make them. So if you guys want to make them yourselves, go for it. I also have like undressed candles that you can buy, so then you can dress them yourselves if you're interested. Who inspires me in the pagan magical communities? So a lot of people do. I've done a video about 13 small witchy creators that inspire me, and all of them definitely do. But if I'm trying to think of new people that I found recently, just off the top of my head, it'd probably be La Green Witch. Their stuff is immaculate. It's gorgeous. Oh, somebody new I found was Harmony Creations. She makes a lot of junk journals, and she's got a fun personality, so it's nice to see her stuff. Those are the two newest ones that I think I haven't talked about before. But also, yeah, I'll leave a link to all the channels that I've recommended in the past as well. Okay, and that leads into, are there any channels I would recommend? Absolutely. All the channels I've talked about in the past, I will link down below. There'll be a huge list for you. Do I believe there are any misconceptions about being a pagan/magical YouTuber? Absolutely. I think it has to do with pay and how much money you make for the amount of effort you put into filming videos. I think I'm just gonna be transparent with you guys. I make about like between $40 and $60 a month on YouTube. And then you don't get paid out monthly, you get paid out when you hit $100. So it's like every 2 months I'll get like $110 check. So, I mean, it's equivalent to half of a work day every 2 months. And I'll tell you, it takes way more than half a day to make, 4 videos a month. So it's like 8 YouTube videos for the equivalent time of like half a work day. And I'm like, no, it takes way more than half a work day to do all that. So I think that's part of why I don't take it too seriously with like having to be here every week, even if I'm feeling low, because I'm like, oh, this doesn't pay my bills. It's okay. I can take a week off if I do need to like recover so that I can pay my bills. So just priorities there. So I do think there is another misconception, and that is that we have to share our whole practices on here and that we're completely transparent about our practices. So for me personally, there's a lot that I keep close to my chest and that I don't share about on this channel. And that's just because it's either stuff I'm currently working through and I haven't come to this solution yet. I'm like still hashing it out either in my heart or in my brain or in my journal. And I just don't feel ready to share it yet. So there's a lot I don't share, and I think that's a really healthy place to be in. I know in the past I've been over communicative, like just with people in general about, trauma or whatever it is I'm going through. And I think it's really valuable to hold space for yourself to figure out what you think about a situation before you introduce other people's opinions to that situation. So, what do I like and dislike about being on YouTube? So there's a lot that I love about being on YouTube. It's really just the community aspect. I know in my own life, I don't have many like magical or pagan friends in reality. So it's really nice to be able to connect online with people of like mind who like have some of that other foundational knowledge. So you don't have to do, even if somebody in your life really cares about you, it's like, you don't want to have to explain everything to have a conversation about something you're excited about right now. So it's like, I can't give you a Theology 101 course before we have this conversation. So it's really nice to have friends and people online you can connect to that have that foundational knowledge. You understand all of my jargon, and I really appreciate that. So something I dislike about being on YouTube is the first couple hours after posting a video, I have this tendency to like want to constantly check to see how a video is doing, but I know my confidence will absolutely plummet if I do that. So I click upload, or I click live, or I schedule it and I'm like uploaded, wash my hands and walk away, and maybe I'll check on it the next day to see how it's doing. Yeah, so there's a lot of anxiety for me with actually the posting of a video and like, oh, how's it gonna be taken? Oh, did I post it at the right time? And like gamifying it in my head. And I'm like, no, you're just doing what you're doing, you're sharing it, and that's enough. Walk away. Are there some challenges and struggles I face by creating on this platform, and how do I overcome them? So that was one of the struggles I face, is just like that confidence of like wanting to feel good about what I produce and then attributing my value to how a video is doing, or even the video's value to how it's doing. A lot of it's just the algorithm, and I can't control that. And I know a lot of my videos are not sensationalized. Like, I don't know, I don't think about like making stuff super clickable or naming stuff outlandish things just to get clicks. I'm like, man, this is what the video is. I just name it what it is. I like make something that like allows you to see what it is I'm doing for the thumbnail and like has some words on it. So I'm like, this is what I'm doing. So I don't know. I can't think too much about that or else it'll spiral me into a bad place. So I overcome those challenges and struggles by just not sweating it, man. Like, if this was my full-time job, I'm sure I'd take it a lot more seriously. But it ain't worth it. It's not worth it to worry about that stuff, so I don't. What is my opinion on monetization, paywalls, and other exclusive content? So I have a lot of opinions about that. I think, heck yeah, dude, get paid. That's awesome. The reason Patreon was created in the first place is because this YouTuber couldn't get paid enough for the job that they're doing. Like I was saying, if I'm making, say I'm making 6 videos a month, that probably takes, what, 2 days per video to make? So it's like 12 days of work roughly. So either filming or editing or uploading descriptions, all that jazz. And like the blog posts associated with them and whatnot. So it's like 12 days of work, and getting paid for half a day's worth of pay is a little, not commensurate. So Patreon allows to fill in those gaps. And that's why I have officially decided to start my Patreon. I think it's going to be live, so here's a link to it. I do have my first couple of digitals on there that you can download at your leisure, and you can get your discount, like I was saying. So if you are interested in checking out my Patreon, please do. I would really appreciate it. Keep a girl going on YouTube by supporting there. Do you have any boundaries on the platform? Why or why not? Yes, I do have boundaries on this platform. So like I was saying earlier, I don't share everything about my practice. I just share mostly my art practice in my art magical practice. But yeah, I do a lot of like candle spell work mainly, and intentional meditations are a huge part of my practice. And like my astral projection practice, I'm getting back into. I fell out of that for a while, but now I'm getting back into that. So there's a lot I haven't shared. I would like to potentially, if you're interested in like a astral projection story time situation, maybe I can tell you guys what I've been doing in the astral realm. Because I've had some pretty strange experiences in the astral realm, and it's been quite an evolution. Dude, it blows my mind every time I think about the fact that we have multiple bodies and that like the astral body can separate from your physical body. And like, sorry, I'm gonna get into it, but yeah. So there's a lot I haven't shared. Some of it I would like to share, and some of it I still want to keep personal to myself. So like, for example, I also don't share my Book of Shadows on YouTube. And that's mainly because it's just really personal stuff in there. It's like a diary. It also has like really personal things I'm working through, like my triggers and all these things that like either I haven't come to a solution for or I haven't remedied. So they're problems mainly that I'm just currently working through. So I don't think it's fair for me to share like, oh, these are my problems, meh, the end, and not have a solution to prepare for you or to share with you guys. So just a lot of deep shadow work in that, Book of Shadows. Well, my Book of Reflection is what I call it. So do I have any goals for this channel is next question. Yes, absolutely. I would love to hit 10,000 subscribers. Originally, I was thinking maybe by the end of the year, but I kind of think that's quite a reach for this year. So, yeah, just slowly growing the channel. I am also, like I was saying, wanted to do my Patreon by the end of this year, and I'm so excited that I'm already getting that going. I'm feeling really good about those steps that I've been taking, so yay! So what are some mistakes I've made and how did I fix them? So a lot of them have been either in filming when I expose like personal information that I want to blur out, and I fix them just by like blurring it or like cutting that bit of the film out or film. Oh my gosh, what am I in the 1960s like chopping it and it's dropping on the floor? No, I just cut that part out digitally. Um yeah, or I will use music that I think I'm allowed to use that is, you know, copyright free and has no licensing requirements. And then it turns out that it does have licensing requirements. There was one video where I did like a time lapse, and this was years ago, of me stacking firewood. And the song I couldn't use, so I don't even remember how I fixed that one. I either took the song out or put like a new song on top of it somehow. That was back in the first days of YouTube video editing where you can like use their in-house video editor. So I don't remember, but somehow I ended up fixing that one. What are some of the ways my channel has grown since my first video? So as you can see, I also do witchcraft videos instead of just bullet journaling. Um, that's a pretty big change. I'm focusing more on my interests, which are spirituality. They have been since, you know, high school. And it's just, I never found a place where I could talk about that. And it's nice that the internet is that for me now. So focusing more on spirituality, which is great. And yeah, I'd like to say that my editing's getting better. I think it is. I used to just do time lapses, which was a lot easier to edit and it was a lot faster, but it's not quite as intriguing as like creating a story around what it is that you're making. So recently I've been trying to, even if I don't do a voiceover, I'll add text to my videos to really illuminate like why I'm doing a spread that I'm doing, what I'm focusing on here, and like how it's gonna help me. So I like to kind of craft a story because it adds meaning to why it is that I'm doing what I'm doing. So, and like, of course, me being the person making the journal spread, like, I know what the meaning is going into it, but I think communicating that meaning to you guys is a really important thing. And I feel like I've been doing a little bit better at that recently, so that's good. Okay, now for the juicy question. Have I ever wanted to quit making videos? Why or why not? So the answer to that is yes, absolutely. And I did. I quit making videos for a while. So I started off my channel being called Cyclical Thought, and it was just about bullet journaling. So I did like the ways I stored my pens and like all of these journaly type things. And right when I was about to get monetized, or it was like right after I got monetized, they changed the monetization requirements. So I had been working towards this goal of getting monetized for so long, and then I got kicked out of it immediately afterwards. And I kind of threw up my hands. I was like, fine, screw this. I'm not doing it anymore. Plus, it was a really big time suck, and I was working doing manual labor at the time. So I was working at a grow op, and it was really physically exhausting. And then I would come home and like I was mentally exhausted because the work environment there wasn't super good. And then I was physically and emotionally and mentally exhausted, and I was still trying to churn out videos. And then it's like, oh, here, you can start making money from this. Oh, wait, never mind. It was just too much for me. So I took a break. But yeah, I think that break was really illuminating for me because there were a lot of things in my life at that time that were like, I don't know if it was a lot of self-doubt or listening to others' doubt in me, just like thinking that I can't do that. I can't make YouTube videos. I can't have an online business. I can't do the influencer thing. But yeah, we can. We totally can. We can do whatever we want to do. And I feel like I have a lot of information and like interesting anecdotes to share, so I'm just gonna share that. So when I came back to YouTube, I felt like I had a new outlook. I felt more empowered. I'd started my candle business, so I was feeling really good about where I was and how I could mesh my making beeswax candles and my magical practice and my YouTube channel. I kind of mush it all together. So that's what I'm working on now, and I'm feeling really good about where I am, which is, oh, it's awesome. It's awesome to have something that is like, it was in your head at one point, and then you're making it a reality. So it feels really good to be where I'm at right now. What did I wish I knew before starting my YouTube journey? So this is a question that I think predominantly would apply to perspective and like mindset going into it. So originally I was taking it much too seriously, and that's why I got so discouraged when the monetization went through and then got like revoked. I was taking it too seriously, and I just wasn't thinking of it as a fun thing to do. And as you can tell, I kind of burnt myself out there with that. So something I would tell my earlier self is just do what you want to do. If you're focusing on what will get clicks or what will um like what will perform well in the algorithm, that's a constantly changing game. And if there's something that excites you, follow that excitement. Because one of the most valuable things in this world is excitement and the freedom to explore what excites you. So I think we can really get in good contact with like our soul's purpose and our higher selves um, through that type of following your excitement or your inner muse. Do I post on any other platforms? If so, what are they? I do some. I'm not the most consistent anywhere else other than YouTube. YouTube is definitely the one where I'm like pretty much weekly. I'll have either like a little update or some type of video for you guys. I am on Instagram. I have a TikTok. I've like done like 3 TikToks. So pretty much not on TikTok, more of a consumer there. I do have an Instagram that's kind of mixed with my candle business as well. So you see like candle photos and new products and stuff over there. I'm on Patreon now, as you guys know, so on Patreon. Not on Twitter, or X, I guess is what it's called. Not really on Facebook. Are there any social medias? I don't know. There are probably more that I'm not thinking of, but yeah, mainly it would be number 1, YouTube, number 2, Instagram. And then probably number 3, well, and number 2 would actually be my website. So my website has like blog posts and stuff on it, so I'm updating that as well. And then, yeah, then number 3 is Instagram. And on those social medias, my name is always Elderberry Sprout. It's at Elderberry Sprout. Do I have any advice for those wishing to create a channel? Yes, absolutely. Just do it. You know, Nike had something right. Just do it, man. Don't think too much about it. Do what makes you feel excited. Do what sounds fun. And, experiment. Because at least with me, I know that experimentation has really helped me find my own voice. And it's helped me to see what resonates with others. Because, you can throw a lot of different ideas at the wall and then see what sticks and like what really connects with people. Or you can not throw any ideas at the wall and then be stuck in analysis paralysis, which is something I have faced in the past. So just do it and don't be scared to be ridiculed. You'll get some hate comments, but that's okay. If you know that what you're doing comes from a place of love and that you're just trying to explore your inner self and like if you know what you're making has value and meaning, just keep doing it, man. And don't take it too seriously. Life is a big game and we're all just playing it. So make sure you're having fun. Last question, who will I tag in this video? So I'm not gonna tag anybody, and that's probably because I am way late to this tag. So anybody I would have tagged, dude, they've already made this video. I'm like way late to this. So if you are watching this, I really appreciate that. I know you're probably tired of watching all of these by everybody else making them, but I finally got the chance to film. So I am. And here's a little insight of what's going on with me. And to end it all, you guys, I know this is my magical YouTube journey, but I wouldn't be here if it weren't for you. If I didn't have you guys watching my videos and leaving comments and liking and subscribing, I wouldn't be here doing it, I'm trying to connect with people in a genuine and loving way. So if there weren't people to connect with, I wouldn't be doing this. So thank you for being amazing and loving and genuine people that I can connect with on the other side of this video. So thank you all you magical folks for watching. I hope you guys have a magical day. Bye.